Women need you to create certainty from within. I was just going to shoot a video here. We see the little mess over there with this epic. I mean, I like this background, but this is kind of cool, but you can't film against this. Then I realized I'm missing an adapter. I said, okay, cool. Well, then I'll shoot the video on the phone, put the phone down here on the laptop. No problem. If you as a man can't improvise and create certainty from within when she gives you a congruence test or when life gives you a test, then she will lose interest in you. You know how people say, oh, something bad happened to me. See, adjusted, no problem, fixed it immediately. And she left me. She lost interest in me. Well, some women just lack any sense of loyalty in their body whatsoever. That is true. Now, most of the time when a man goes through a hard phase, it's not the fact that he lost a little bit of money or that he's going through a rough phase. It's the fact that you have let it affect you, or that man has let it affect his sense of confidence, his sense of certainty, his ability to maneuver and adapt and improvise in the moment. In other words, he got really negative and maybe developed some bad habits. Don't always blame women. And trust me, I'm the last thing that you'd call a white knight, extreme, what have you, politically correct bullshitter. No, absolutely not. But it is true that whenever you blame the external, and women are part of the external, then you're neglecting the responsibility you have for the outcomes you have in your own dating and your relationship life. Women will sometimes on a date throw something unexpected at you. And it is true that the wrong women will give you too many congruence tests and the right ones only a lot less, but they still will. So if she throws something at you like, oh, pretty ginger, or you like your little new polo or whatever, it looks very brown, well then how do you respond to that? You say, well, actually, this is a very expensive. You start justifying yourself. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. How this could be $5 or more or a lot more. Nobody cares or knows. Okay? When you start justifying or over-explaining yourself, you are fucked, my friend. That's what I would like you to understand. You have to be able to create certainty from within, and I'm going to give you a very technical piece of advice that you can implement right now. Whenever a woman teases you, whenever a man teases you in front of other people on a date, use this technique. It's called yes and. Accept and amplify, agree and exaggerate. Accept and amplify, agree and exaggerate. Instead of saying, oh, you're so ginger, nah, whatever, you can say, excuse me, I'm strawberry blonde. Bah, failed. You're justifying yourself. You're insecure. So what you can do instead is say, yeah, my parents, they thought about giving me up at adoption because the second I popped out with red hair, they didn't want that curse in their house. Ha ha. Or it's very brown. I was like, yeah, it's the only brown thing about me. You can make up, I'm not going to say it right now, you could say some wild stuff. You could be really fun and silly. I was just teaching a seminar in New York. Most of the coaching I do is obviously done online, but I was just teaching a boot camp in New York with 9 clients. We had an amazing time. And their jaws literally dropped when they saw me in action. When they saw in-person approaches during the day and around Times Square, in certain clubs, restaurants, Whole Foods, they were like, wow, this is insane. And the best thing was, then they did the same thing. You can learn to start conversations with women very quickly, but you have to be able to manage your mental and your emotional state. I started this video by saying you have to be able to be flexible. To be flexible in your approach, you have to have certainty from within. And so whatever she says, she gives you congruence tests, you want to start a conversation with a woman in person, life gives you a challenge, it comes back down to creating confidence and certainty from within. It's a skill set you have to master. And it's interesting, you're probably doing very well in your career or your business. And yet, in dating, you don't have the level of confidence that you need. You really don't. If you were actually confident around the women you really like, you'd already be in a loving relationship with a woman that you'd want to share your life with. But you're not, because you lack a skill set. And the skill set is getting at least one quality date every single week, communicating really effectively, maintaining attraction, and then it's confidence. But it's 10 out of 10 level confidence. There's a certain caliber of woman that if you would like to have her, I'm not talking about a ridiculous top model, Victoria's Secret. No, but if you want her to be really physically attractive and She has to have an amazing personality and great values, and you got to have intellectual stimulation. That's an outcome 99% of men will never have in their lives. Never. If you want that, you have to be willing to put in the work, and you have to be able to exhibit levels of confidence that most men don't have. And being able to say yes and whenever somebody teases you, you accept and amplify the premise. Whatever they tease you for, you're very short. Yes. And in Germany, they don't even, when you try to enter Germany, the country, they're not just scanning your passport. There's also like a little height test. Sometimes they didn't even want to let me in the country. Haha. Silly, stupid example, right? But yes, and it makes you come across as very secure. Self-deprecation is a very powerful tool. If you're not using it at all, you're missing out on insane opportunities to display confidence because it becomes very evident that you don't need her approval, that you don't need her validation. Now, self-deprecation used too often also makes you come across as insecure, my friend. So, creating certainty from within is the number one skill you got to learn as a man. And as you realized, it's context dependent. Now, you could say there's something called core confidence where you go into a new context, but it is context/competence dependent. The better you get at it, the better you get in your business or your career, the more confident you became, right? And so the more confident you become, the more you enjoy it, the more work you put in, and your competence goes up. That's why it spirals upwards. In psychology, they call that the confidence-competence loop. You need to be able to do the same thing in dating because to get the result, an amazing relationship to a woman that you can build a family with or at least share your life with, you will have to do things most men won't do, which is build a good dating app profile, crazy idea, not that difficult. Build a really good Instagram, maybe do some approaches in person, maybe social circle, because that's it. Matchmaking doesn't work. There's no other way. The only ways are those 4 ways, and we have strategies for all of that in the coaching program. Apply for a free initial consultation if you'd like to. You have to be willing to take those steps. And it doesn't take a lot of time. You can be busy. David, I'm busy. All of my clients are busy, right? I have tons of clients who have good jobs, a couple $100K a year. And then I have clients who are very wealthy and wealthy. You can absolutely do it while you're busy. It doesn't take more than a couple of hours a week. Dating apps only take 15, 20 minutes a day. That's all it is. You build a really good profile and it changes the game. I did it with a client of mine, business owner in New York. He went from maybe 1 date a month to 2-3 dates a week. Insane quality. Really. You have a marketing problem, my friend. You don't have a product problem. You have a marketing problem because you don't know how to sell yourself. Now, marketing done right is never about lying. Any business, any product, any man is going to crumble in a relationship, or the product is going to fail, the business is going to fail, if it isn't inherently great. You can only market for so long before reputation gets around and you get screwed. Now, that's the reason why a lot of F-boys, men who are, neck tattoos and, I'm not judging them as people, but they're a little bit more fun and playerish. That's why a lot of them crumble in relationships, not because the women are also bad, but also because they have unhealthy habits that they bring into the relationship because there's something they haven't solved within themselves. A new level of self-growth they have to unlock for themselves. But you're already a really good, kind, caring guy. It's not a product problem. It's a marketing problem. Now, we're all going to keep growing. You're going to keep growing. I'm going to keep growing. We're all going to learn new things that will never end. But just saying, just work on yourself and the right one will come eventually. That's completely utter nonsense because if that was the case, you'd already be there. You were told, just be kind, the right woman will come. You were told, just make money and the right woman will come. Maybe you were told, just get in shape and the right woman will come. Evidently, it hasn't happened. Crazy, right? So what's missing? Mindset, communication, and a date machine. You simply need the date machine, but you won't do the things that are necessary if you can put yourself in a state of confidence and certainty. If women utter words and those words make you insecure. And it doesn't mean that you see yourself as above her. I've been with Fernanda for 6.5 years. We have a loving relationship on eye level. I'm in Vegas right now for business. And before that, I was in New York, and then I was in Toronto, now I'm in Vegas, then I'm going to be double in Miami, then I'm teaching a one-on-one bootcamp in Helsinki, Finland. Most of the coaching, 98%, is done online, but I also meet with clients in person. So I'm traveling a lot. That's why Fernanda's not with me right now. But she's the kindest, sweetest person in the whole world. I would really like you to understand that you can have a loving relationship on eye level in a maturely masculine way. Because on the internet, you see a lot of nonsense. You see either soy boys that are telling you, just be kind. Saying just be kind and you'll find the right woman is like saying just breathe air and you'll build muscle. Yeah, breathing air is a bit of a requirement to get some gains, but there's more to it. Now, on the other hand, you have a really unhealthy approach to masculinity on the internet that doesn't really get you very far, because you need to be radically honest and authentic in your communication. That doesn't mean perfect. We're all making mistakes every once in a while, but you want to be truly masculine, set boundaries, communicate your needs in your authentic way, not in my way, not in somebody else's way, but in your way. And if you develop the skill set of creating certainty from within to pass any congruence test she may give you at any point in time, she'll never lose interest in you. That's a fact. And if you're a man who's crushing it in your career or your business, you're an achiever, and you want to find the right woman to share life with, click the link right now underneath this video and apply for a free initial consultation. A member from my team is going to reach out. What have you got to lose? It's a free initial consultation. Click the link right now. Looking forward to speaking with you soon. Take care.